So my name is Bob Flavin and this is a review of the Volkswagen ID3. We've been looking at this car for a long time and this is the first time I've actually got to drive it. Even though it's been built during the pandemic, they've got 20,000 of them built or something already. There is actually stock of this in Ireland as well, should you actually want to order one. It's longer than a Golf, wider than a Golf. The wheelbase is much longer than a Golf. It's going to be an interesting kind of future because Volkswagen are betting a lot on the future of this car. It's called ID3 because they made the Beetle, the Golf, and now the ID3, which is going to revolutionize what Volkswagen are trying to do. It's an interesting time to be alive, guys, I have to say. I stopped for a charge here just to see how charging works on it, and it's flawless. I do very much like that the charge unit is on the side of the car rather than the front of the car, because obviously in the frontal impact, the chances of getting damage in the front of the car is very high, thus the charging wouldn't work. And on the back of the car, it's just awkward. But at least I get to reverse into the space where the charging unit can work. This one here is not developing any heat yet because they're not at 150 kilowatt charging. Anyway, we're going to start off a bit of a review of the outside look of the car, and then we're going to go for a little spin in the car as well to see what it's like. So hit the subscribe button because this is going to get really interesting. Okay, we're going to have a look around the car now from the outside first. We've already got another Leaf charging in here. Which man got in and went off for a run, which is very interesting. But it's a newer Leaf, a 181 version, and he's using the other charger. So there's always a queue for these things. And I'll tell you what the biggest problem is right now. The high power charger, which isn't at full speed, is actually free to charge at. So that one costs money to charge at. And so people are coming just queuing up for this fast one, even though it's not fast anymore. Anyway, let's have a look at the exterior of this car, right? So around the front here, I really do think it looks like a Volkswagen Up. Excuse the absolute decimation of flies across front. I literally just drove straight here, but it does look like a Volkswagen Up, right? A flat front. I know it's a comment on Twitter, which says, why do we have to have this dappley thing going on here in the bottom of it? It's just a design thing, really. You know, when you think about it, if it was blank, like the Tesla Model 3 is a problem with design. Along the side here, these alloys are diamond cut, quite flat, quite close to the edge of the tyre, but not overly so. I don't think you'd curve them too easy. This is, of course, the first edition written there. Coming back along the side here, quite flat. This is like a normal Golf 7 petrol cap. This part here, all plastic across this part. This is painted, this bit here. As you can see, a lot of the car is made of plastic these days, which is why that does that. There's another issue here we have. Look, I have to step over this cable. Should be yellow, shouldn't it? Anyway, ID3 written on the back of it. And all Volkswagens open, same way. The boot's actually quite a sizable lump of a thing, bigger than a Golf, with shopping bag hooks on both sides, a 12-volt socket in the boot as well. Amazing! Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Bigger than a Golf boot, would you imagine that? The car overall is bigger than a Golf anyway. Sorry, there's a crane turning here. See that thing, look? So noisy here. Oh, look! Aha! I found you, little motor. Here's what the motor looks like. Well, some of it. As you can see, it's a Valio unit. There's the coolant, which keeps something cool. Screen wash. Look, a 12-volt battery. Wow, old-fashioned tech there, boys. And the underside of this is not painted. Just so you know. It's kind of misted over, but it's not painted. These are very early edition. The first edition are the early editions. So that's kind of the exterior. Let's have a look at the interior. All right. The interior of the ID3 we've seen before. So we have been here before. It comes up with welcome, your vehicle is online mode. So we have actually sat in one of these before, but this is the live one. This is the real one. And, well, there is some problems straight away. Software issues. And it's more to do with the fact that my phone has been Bluetoothed onto it. And so the speak freely thing doesn't work as well, because Siri jumps into the middle of it and goes, hello, can I help you? This thing isn't quite the same. So I have turned on the online mode on it, and air conditioning works when you're sitting here while you're charging up and all. So I'm actually charging at the moment. I do love this little screen. I think it's really, really sensible thing to have. It tells you how many minutes left of charging there is to full, how many kilometers I can do right now. As you can see, I'm not far off full, but there's no queue, so I'm going to wait till I get a little bit more in. This is my gear shift now up in the top corner here. And I have these little screens on my, these are screens. So these aren't physical, they're not like physical buttons. They're weird. They're like little touch screens. They make a sort of haptic feel when you touch them. It's quite interesting. Coming over this way, this is where the infotainment system is. You can see tucked in here, they've put the lights system. So that's actually buried behind the wheel on the other side. So I thought it was actually going to be over here, but it's actually on that side. So, but you don't really, because it's auto. See auto at the top there? Once that's on, you can see I've just turned it off there. So that's auto. How do I turn it back to auto? Yeah, there it goes, auto. So it's just like a little touch pad as well, a little haptic feedback touch pad. And we come over here to this part of it. It's the full infotainment system. So this touch here, and you get the whole system inside it, but you can actually break it down into smaller bits. So you can go to assist. It might not work now, it's turned out because it's charging, obviously. So there's what I can do. See, defog windows. It's very classic. Cool my feet. Very cool my feet. Hey ID3. Cool my feet. Cool my feet.
You can use voice control to operate the radio and media, navigation system, telephone and air conditioning. For example, say, drive to London or call John Smith Work.
Drive to London. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Be good crack. Anyway, you do have physical buttons here. See, these are all physical buttons across the top here. So you can actually touch that and slide them to change the temperature. See that there? You can slide your hand on it. Shut up, will you? Shut up, love. Relax. You can also turn the system off there. So going out of that and back into this, you've got sound and navigation. Navigation is quite good. Very pretty looking. Looks well. Work okay. It's not a big deal for it. Everything seems to work so far, but moving... fact checking Bob here for a second. You'll notice that there's a couple of things that I'm glossing over in the satellite navigation system. This is a very early production version of the car. It is production version, but there is a massive software update to come for this car that will change the navigation and the software inputs in this car completely. Apple CarPlay will be included in future models and will be included in this model. If you order today, by January, it'll have Apple CarPlay on it with software update, which is the same as they're all going, so don't fret. It's the same as all the car companies out there, including Tesla. They update their software to suit future versions of it. Anyway, enjoy that now. Back to the review. Seems to work okay. It's not a big deal for it. Everything seems to work so far, but moving down across here, so we'll come back to the system later on. You got a little net system here to throw something into, which is interesting. They have 2 cup holders, big ones, really big ones. Then I have another sort of slot here, of which, I don't know where that came from, but I'll put that in there, right? This comes out and lifts up, and you can put a phone in here. But I don't think that's a wireless charger, which I find a little bit weird, why that wouldn't be. Because I put my phone in, and nothing happens. So I don't think it's wireless charging. You'd think that should be, shouldn't you? No, it's come on now, but it's not charging though. There's no green at the top there. But right behind that is this, which is a little hole here that I can, as my mask, that I can charge stuff from. I'm actually charging some batteries for my cameras at the moment, but I can charge my phone from there. So I suppose I can loop the cable over and charge it that way instead of having wireless charging. But it's messy there, isn't it, having a loop there? Why would you do that? There is a glove box, of which is a little bit plasticky. It's a bit light like. You know. Same problem with the Teslas actually in fairness. Then up the top here I have lights. And then I have my usual sort of LED lights that come on here at the top. I have 2 cards with this phone. This one. Oh, one of them is I've just lost that card forever now. One is a Volkswagen access card for ESB, and the other one is if I can get out between the seats, is the WeCharge version of it. And I have the 2 cards there. And that is essentially what the front seat of this looks like. It's lovely. It's a very relaxing place to drive, but we'll come to the drive afterwards. So I drove this already for over 100 kilometers, so I'm going to drive it on again and show you more of that. Anyway, back seat. So draw your attention to how big those doors are. Tons of room to get in. Really good family situation, that is. Really like that. Door locks. The doors have a good, very heavy thud off them. I like that thud. That's a real heavy thud. Right, so I have two USB-C ports in here, which is quite good. I have map holders on the back of both seats, and I also have these extra pockets on the top as well. So very practical in that sense. Tons of room above my head, like a whole fist fits in there, easy peasy. I have an armrest and two cup holders with a sort of a small bottle holder in the middle of it, and a ski loader or a long object loader through the middle as well. So very practical back seat here. And of course you can, it is a Volkswagen, so you can drop the seats in one click, which is exactly what you want. Being a Volkswagen, they know how to do that very, very well. Altogether, it's just a comfortable place to be. Tons of room for the rear passengers here. It's a very big car. It's bigger than a Golf. Before we go any further, I want to give you a rundown on the motor lineup for this car, because there's 3 additions to this, and this is kind of important. So I'm going to break here. I'm going to have a magic voiceover. Volkswagen will eventually have 3 versions of the ID3 on the road, but this current one is called the first edition and is available right now. The current one I'm in is 204 horsepower, all electric, with a battery size of 58 kilowatt hours. Its combined range under WLTP is 424 kilometers maximum. The best I've gotten has been about 380 to 385. Power consumption under WLTP ranges from 15.5 to 16.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Recommended retail price starts at $43,625 and stretches up to $57,545. With grants taken off that and delivery added to it, the price becomes $34,425 for the basic model, up to $48,345. The current model I'm in will be €41,395. So one thing you notice when you get in is when you just put your foot in the brake, it starts up, which is the same as the kind of Tesla thing, you know, they're trying to do away with the keys. But there is keys, don't make a mistake, there is keys. Now, a couple of things I need to point out for you here. First of all, I am not connected to the ID3 app, so I don't use the app for anything. So everything I'm going to show you here is the manual version of it, because number one, I don't have it long enough, but number two, a lot of the app is designated to a particular customer, so you end up running into trouble if you try and do it as a journalist, right? So ID3 is a car I've been waiting for. I really wanted ID3 to come on because ID3 is, to me, the most important car Volkswagen has put out in years, but also it is the Volkswagen. So what am I looking at really? Right now, I love this little screen in the middle, which is obviously taken, the idea comes from the BMW i3, because there's a little knob on the side here for the gear selector, and of course it's very clear instrument binnacle, which shows me what's going on in front of me. So it's telling me to take my foot off the pedal, and I can engage just do that, come down there. Yeah, there we go. So this has active cruise control as well, just tell you. So I can do the 50 kilometers an hour through the town here, and the car will look after it for me. The very slight, Volkswagen by far and away have the best active cruise control system. It's just very good at what it does. Now Tesla will be up there with them for sure, but it's a different level, a different thing, slightly different thing. But the active cruise control on this is very, very good. So why does any of this matter? Volkswagen make good cars. Volkswagen Group make good cars. And so when they turn their attention to making a good electric car, then we're going to get a good car that runs like an electric car. This car is also the death of the e-Golf. Okay, so the Golf is going to go back to being a mild hybrid PHEV, diesel, petrol, so on, and the ID3 will now take over as the electric offering. What's ahead, of course, we're looking at ID Buzz, which will be coming as well, which I'm quite excited about. I have to say, I love a little camper van. I love those kind of things, those kind of weird cars that are coming. The ID Cross is coming as well. ID4 is on the way, and then of course the wider group of the Volkswagen area will be coming in with more cars. Skoda and Seat and Audi will also be offering their electric cars as well. That's going to change matters here, and I really do mean that's going to change the electric race. There's a good purpose behind that. The electric race currently is dominated by IT people, and I even spoke to a guy at the charger there a few minutes ago who's driving a Model S, because that charger's free, so even the guys who can afford a Tesla are charging there. But I talked to him a minute ago and asked him what he did, and guess what? He's in IT. The IT people understand how these sort of things work, and they're very anxious to get into them. Whereas people who like cars, motor cars, or just driving around in fast cars or diesel cars or whatever it is, just don't get it yet. And there's two races happening right now. Coming back to the ID3, sitting here, I can feel the swoop of the A-pillar that comes up along the side. They've split the window here so I can see out the side of it as well. The end of the windscreen seems a very, very long way away. That dashboard is huge. It swoops away into the distance because they can push everything out because of the way the motors work in the car, because the engine or the motor is so small. And this isn't a four-wheel drive, it's a rear-wheel drive, which is interesting as well. A lot of the gubbins is in the back of it. And so it's rear-wheel drive on the back. So it's actually quite a nice push feeling along with it. Let's give a little test. Let's give a little test of speed. So, floor it. Ooh. It's not really hard. There's a little punch behind it. But the acceleration isn't exactly phenomenal now or anything. It's okay. It's fine. The 60 to 120 is done in a pretty good time. That's nice, very nice. This has active cruise control as well, so I can turn that on. Set up to 120. And it has number plate, or not number plate, it has speed recognition, so when it sees a sign, it will slow down to see the speed of that sign. We're currently doing 17 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometer, which is okay, at 120. That's alright, isn't it? It's all good. So, this is day 2, and it's actually starting way out in Ballymount. I had a meeting here this morning. Put your foot in the brake, that's right. It starts up, and then you go D, and then go. Ooh, yeah. So I started out this morning at home. I had a meeting here in Ballymount. I started with 308 kilometres. I have 219 kilometres left, and I went at 120 kilometres an hour on the motorway, 100 kilometres an hour where suitable, and I didn't really give the ID3 a break at all. I just kind of put the foot down and kept on going. And now I'm going to head home because I have to make a video. This video that I'm actually in today is going to be made today and be out on my channel. If you're a channel subscriber on channel memberships or Patreon, you will get to see this video that I'm filming now, today. So you'll see it tomorrow with everybody else. So yeah, it's pretty good enough. Subscribe is what I'm saying to you. ID3, so far for me, it's been a kind of a very complete unit, a very fire and forget unit is what I'd say to you, because I just got in and drove and I didn't really worry about, nothing else really matters. This little readout here in front of you just has everything you want. If you set a destination, so there are some software glitches, and that will be in an update later this year, early next year. It'll be in an update to fix the problems that I have with the little software glitches that are in stuff. There is a few. The software on this will actually get a massive update very soon, and we will have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This is on the way. The systems are a little bit finicky, so when you ask a question of the ID3 system, sometimes Siri answers. It just depends. And I mean Siri on my iPhone, which is just Bluetoothed on. There's no Apple CarPlay right now. That's going to be in a software update very soon. SatNav is pretty good. It actually shows you how far away charge points are. It gives you listed out all the charge points. It is missing some of the newer ones. Like I said, there's some software updates to do with this car that we haven't seen yet. We will see. But as a car, as a driver's car, it's much more of a driver's car than a Tesla is, for instance. It feels a bit more of a Golf, whereas a Tesla feels a bit more like a technological marvel of a thing. This actually feels like something I want to sit in and drive for the whole day. It is a brilliantly capable car, Volkswagen. It really is. It feels like a good car. It feels like a real car. A big car, actually. Lots of room. I think it's going to be a big seller. I think it's good to see the competition in the market. I think it's really good to see something different being done in the market as well, because it's electric cars, and you know, there's every car company now is pushing into the market. So I would suggest you're going to see a narrowing of the lead when it comes to what Tesla's been doing, which is interesting in its own way. I'm a fan of what Tesla does. but it doesn't make them invincible. It doesn't make them uncatchable. I think they are catchable by a real car company, and well, guess what? A real car company is now making electric cars. Looking forward to next year ID Buzz. Of course, I'm in a very privileged position to be driving cars of this anyway. I drive like this is very, very early. I suppose it's down to you guys on YouTube. The size of the channel, the power of the channel now has become quite big, and we're considered, you know, a major outlet in Ireland now is this little channel. So thank you very much, everyone, to subscribe. I'd love to have you aboard if you want to. Click the subscribe button. If you want to support the channel properly, you can do so in the list of links down below. You can also support the channel and get something half price if you click on NOAH link down below, which is news over audio. You get a 50% discount if you subscribe there for a year. So it's only €60 for the entire year. And yes, I do get a cut. The support from NOAH has been absolutely brilliant from day one, from the first approach. The support from NOAH has been brilliant, and I do get a cut out of that, and it's a lovely way to support the channel. So you get something, I get something, we all get something, and you get a discount out, which is even better. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you want more of this kind of content where I do stuff with some unusual machines, then please let me know in the comments down below. But until the next time, I will see you on the far side of this electric bit.